Hello everyone, Jed Yurick here with what I hope to be another very informative presentation. Today I will be demonstrating how to get into a 15th century suit of medieval plate armor. A few disclaimers before we begin. First of all, this will not be universal for all suits of armor. Each suit of armor is a little bit different. I'm just showing you how I get into mine. I have mine laid out in sort of a cheater setup, if you will. I already have certain pieces strapped together. I do this usually because it's easier to get into and get out of. Also, I've done this to save time. Also, you may have noticed I already appear to be wearing a third of it. I already have my leg harnesses and my greaves strapped on. This too I have done to save time because putting on my leg harnesses is simply a matter of me bent over something with my leg up on like a stool, strapping things down. Also, I'm already wearing a arming jacket, this light leather arming jacket, and a very simple yet extremely practical scarf. Indeed, certain medieval arm manuals mention that a scarf is actually an essential part of the underlying garments that knights wore to protect themselves from like the chafing of the steel armor they have strapped to their body. And now, we shall begin. This is going to be extremely loud, I should warn you. First, we have my breastplate. You can see I have the cheater setup, if you will. It already has the cassets attached here, and it already has the arm harnesses strapped to the sides and ready to go. This particular breastplate also has a leather backplate, so it's much easier to get on and off than one that has a regular steel one. I warned you this would be loud. I'm only going to do half of the straps to save time. Just give you a basic idea of what goes where. Most breastplates, though, that have a backplate, you will have buckles on the tops and on the sides. Usually the buckles on the top are left untouched unless you really have to get a big fat head in there. Or you're one of those people who's just having a big head day. Also, having a tassets attached directly to the breastplate like this, it's nothing terribly unusual. But having the arm harnesses strapped directly to the breastplate like this is. Normally, these would be separate, and you would attach them after you have the breastplate on. But with these, now, see how much time I've saved? It's just a matter of fastening these buckles down here. And again, I'm only doing half of the buckles simply to save time. But each of these arm pieces here, these point-tied arms, they're called point ties because they're tied at specific points with leather. Each of them has a specific name, several in a few cases. This part on my lower forearm here, around my wrist, is called the vambrace, sometimes also referred to as the lower cannon. This middle part, this elbow piece, is usually called the counter. There may exist other names for it, but I'm not aware of them. And then this last part here, up by my shoulder, up closest to my shoulder, is called the rebrace or upper cannon. There do exist versions of these where the counter here, it has a very prominent spike on it, more prominent anyway. And yes, they were used to elbow smack people. You may also be wondering why I don't have a squire attaching all this for me. Well, the short answer is I simply don't have a squire. They're very difficult to come by. Especially since they unionized. That's not a historical fact, by the way. Don't quote me on that. Squires never unionized. It's just the joke I always make about squires. The samurai, though, they had an interesting habit about their armor. I don't think they had squires who would attach their armor for them. I think they did it themselves. Samurai suits of armor were much easier to get on by yourself, I think. Also, reputedly, a samurai did not remove his armor until the campaign was over. So the campaign would start, they would put on their armor, and then they'd keep marching and fighting until the campaign was over, and then they'd finally remove their armor. I don't know if that is true or not. So now that's all strapped on. The next part we have is the goret. Now, in some suits of armor, the goret will go on before the breastplate. With this particular goret, it goes on after. Also, you'll notice this goret also has the pauldrons already attached to it. Another advantage of my cheater setup. Also, interesting fact about the goret, it was the last piece of metal armor that was issued to, like, state armies. British redcoats had, like, a very decorative goret they would sometimes wear. But it was purely decorative at that point, didn't protect anything. Except you were very, very lucky. And now, we just strap these pauldrons down. Straps don't have to be tight, but just tight enough so they don't fly away into the wind. Whilst you are riding majestically on your stallion, if you have one. Right, so those are on. Second to last, we have the helmet. This is a 15th century style armet, and you may be thinking that there isn't much of putting on a helmet. Well, with an armet there is. You have to pop open the visor, unhinge the sides, and then you can finally put it on. Like a regular helmet. Bring the sides back down, put them in place, and the visor ready to pop down. And now, lastly, I have my gauntlets. My very basic mitten gauntlets. Other gauntlets, you see, they may have more elaborate procedures for attaching them, but these nice and simple mitten gauntlets, they just go on like a big pair of oversized mittens. Aren't they lovely? And so now, I am ready to go do whatever it is I can do in a suit of armor in this day and age. Which isn't very much, unfortunately. Goodbye then.